Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. You're listening to us on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. Sister stations.
I'm breaking it down.
Worldwide at
IRLoneStar.com.
Yes, sir, you are. And don't forget, check us out at Facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio.
I just want to dance.
Interact with us. But we're right in the middle of our weekly top three.
Yeah,
we're talking our sports icons, favorite sports heroes, even.
Yes.
But before we get into sports heroes, I want to talk about some of our local gaming heroes. The guys at Space Cadets Gaming.
Well, I thought you meant me. Like I'm my own hero gaming.
Nope.
Oh,
wow.
That's weird. Yeah, Space Cadets Gaming is the place to go for your gaming nerd needs. They've got HeroClix. They've got Friday Night Magic.
Yep.
They've got Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep.
They've got Munchkin.
Yep.
Flux.
Yep.
Settlers of Catan. Yep. First guy on Mars. What's that game called? We were looking at it the other day, like Settling on Mars or something.
I don't know.
Star Trek: A 5-Year Discovery.
There you go.
Did I get it right?
You did.
Oh my goodness.
It only took years.
Yep.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun. You should check it out. It's right there on Robinson Road in Oak Ridge, across from the Woodlands Mall. Space Cadets Gaming. It's where you need to go to be a nerd.
Yep. Mention Nerd Thug Radio, and they'll give you 10% off of one item. Also, we do a show called Kingdom of Geekdom. You can find it weekly on KVQT 21 here in Houston, or also check it out at Woodlands Online. And BMAC is now doing his own little segment inside the show we created.
I already wrapped it up. I said it's across from the mall.
I said we created it. That's right.
Like,
We created Kingdom of Geekdom.
That's us.
He's like adding, like I wrapped it up. We were done.
But I'm plugging ourselves.
We were out. We were out clean.
Plugging ourselves. All right, so we're talking about our sports heroes.
That's why
we got our threes in here. So Nikko DLG, what's your number 2?
Ultimate Warrior. Literally because of this amazing story and how his he just played this monumental lead up into his death.
Right, so
sports heroes.
A lot of what Nico knows about sports, he learns from me. You as well, but me. I tell him these stories about these times in sports where these cool things happen that he doesn't know. He's too young.
I just get the cool snapshots.
Right, and you don't follow sports, so I kind of lay out the groundwork. This is what was going on at the time, and this is why it's a big deal. And I feel like 80% of your sports knowledge is just my crazy stories that I remember.
No, it's like 200% of my knowledge.
And so we literally, between breaks, told him about Ultimate Warrior, and he was like, "What?" And now that's his favorite person.
Right, yeah, because it's super cool.
He
got inducted to the Hall of Fame, made 2 appearances, gave 2 amazing speeches, and then died.
Right.
What?
Do you want to hear, you want me to read you, part of his, last speech?
No, I want to watch it.
I want to watch it. I'm going to read just a little bit for you so you get what I'm saying. So he literally is standing in the ring, and he says, "No WWE talent becomes a legend on their own. Every man's heart one day beats its final beat. His lungs breathe their final breath."
Oh my God, this is changing my life as we speak.
And then he dies the next day.
And then he died the next day?
Yeah,
my life is over.
It's on YouTube. You can...
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it religiously. This is amazing.
There was a story a long time ago that has always stuck with me. It was about a pastor who him and his family die in a weird car accident. Literally a tree falls on their car and kills them.
Oh my God.
You can't get more act of God than that.
Right, yeah.
Except the sermon he gave the day before, he started it with, "If I die tomorrow, just know I'm fine and in heaven." That's literally what he said at the start of his sermon the day before.
Oh, you know what? The world is mental.
95% of pastors say that.
Right, but typically not in their sermons. I mean...
They say it a lot. I've heard a lot of it.
I haven't gone to enough church to know that.
I've heard a lot of sermons, and they say that a lot.
But
That's pretty intense,
It's right, and then, I think the kid survived, and him and the wife died.
Huh.
But
Even worse. But yeah, check out that.
Right, yeah, now the kid's sad and alone.
Just Google Ultimate Warrior final speech.
Lulu.
It'll change your mind. I was telling Corey.
It will change my life. It's already changed my life this much, and I've only heard about him 20 minutes ago.
I texted Corey one night. I'm an avid WWE Network subscriber, and I watched the original stuff. And there's one, and it's called WWE 24, and it's basically they film 24 hours of an event like the WrestleMania,
the build up to it.
Build up to WrestleMania, and then there's the build up to some other stuff. And so I was watching them all one night, and I text him, and I'm like, I'm watching wrestling, and I'm almost crying because you just all these things as a kid now, you're seeing backstage into some things.
How do they get it made?
And I'm watching this back with Ultimate Warrior. I'm like, and he dies 2 days later, and I know that.
Yeah.
And then you see all the stuff that he's like him and Hulk Hogan had a huge beef.
Yeah.
After wrestling ended, and they mend their relationship backstage.
It's just changing my life.
And then he goes out and gives this great speech at the Hall of Fame, and then he's all excited because he's back home. Then he goes out and gives this crazy speech and then dies.
Right.
And like I'm sitting there like almost tearing up. It was
My life is forever changed. Thanks Ultimate Warrior.
Thanks,
I
Ultimate
appreciate
Warrior.
On that sad note, Corey
Yeah.
DLG, you're number 2.
So my number 2, way more positive, uplifting than that. It's Wayne Gretzky, and I don't even like hockey.
Yeah.
I don't even like hockey at all. But he mainstreamed hockey and also the white athletes in sports.
Okay.
To me, Wayne Gretzky is the perfect when there's not a lot of positions in sports that are competitively still like the white athlete. And I know this sounds weird because I'm a very liberal person and I don't have a problem saying that. I'm very independent voting wise. And like I respect races and all that kind of thing. But he's one of the few great white athletes. I'm great at hockey is a white sport. But even now he's like an owner of a team.
Sport.
It is a Canadian sport.
And a Russian sport.
He's an owner of a team even now. Like, he's just been such an impact on his sport. Got a cartoon. He had video games. The only reason I even played a hockey video game was because of Wayne Gretzky.
Hockey?
Yeah.
I always liked Bobby Hurley.
Okay.
Played for the St. Louis Blues, I think was their team. Or Jaromir Jagr.
Jaromir Jagr, I didn't realize he was still playing. Because he just retired, like, last year.
Yeah, because I would see him in the early 90s. He had, like, the curly Jerry curl mullet. Like, just flowing out of his, like...
Jaromir Jagr was, like,
just destroying people.
He was. He was really,
That's a good one. The Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Also, his daughter's pretty hot.
Yeah,
my number 2 is the Tom Brady.
Okay.
I love me
But he's the GOAT. How do you not have him as number 1?
Because I'm going to go to my childhood for my number 1.
Fair enough.
This is the Tom Brady. Like, just... I say this many times, and, like, people, like, you have a man crush. During the Super Bowl, my mom texts me. She says, you need to call your boyfriend, Tom, and tell him it's going to be okay. Because she knew they were going to lose. But just the way, even he carries himself. Like, so, they lose the game, and he runs off the field, and people were like, oh, you didn't shake the other hand. Peyton Manning never did that, too. But then, like, some stories are coming out, like, as he was leaving, he stopped some of the Eagles players and, like, were congratulating them and talking to them behind the scenes. And, like, and he's always very...
Little did you know, he was actually very nice.
Right,
yeah,
right.
And you see him, and when you see someone who is that good, like, he is the greatest quarterback of all time.
I do agree we are seeing...
He is the greatest.
Something unique.
And when you interview him and talk to him, he's still very much about the team.
Yes.
Like, during the whole Super Bowl weekend, everyone was like, hey, so you think about retiring or how long you playing? He's like, why are you guys asking me this? I'm in the Super Bowl with my team. My team's playing great. We're all playing at a high level. Like, why isn't that the focus?
Right.
Like, and so just, that's what you want from a leader. And
it is what you want. He's an excellent leader. I do feel like
he may be the GOAT, but he relies on his squad.
Right, and so and that's what a good leader is.
Right.
That is what
I've learned a lot about leadership this week, and that's he's a great leader.
Interesting.
Nico, you're number 1.
Bugs Bunny, Space Jam, the end.
Boom!
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He's also with Michael Jordan in that. Michael Jordan's pretty good.
I don't know, but he's gonna compete with Bugs Bunny. I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's fair.
Bugs Bunny.
We'll just move on from that.
Hard pass. All right, Corey, you're number 1.
I do like that as a number 1. It's a funny number 1 though.
It's a funny number 1 coming from a guy who doesn't really.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't
sports.
really. No, yeah.
Tim Tebow, Ultimate Warrior, Bugs Bunny, and Space Jam.
That's accurate. Okay, so my number 1 though, I one up you.
Okay.
The hoodie, Bill Belichick. I love Bill Belichick. I think football.
You know what? I agree with you. Continue.
Football being what it is, it's such a unique, different thing, and he has completely changed it. He changed all of it. Now, granted, he was a Bill Parcells assistant, so some people want to give credit to Bill Parcells. Bill Belichick has done so much on his own. He's done more than Bill Parcells.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
Right, and he's actually surpassed Bill Parcells, I feel like, to the point where now
definitely
his tree of assistant coaches should be separate, I feel like.
But his tree's not very good.
No, his tree. Now, part of it is
they're
his
under
tree,
500.
His tree takes jobs they shouldn't take.
They're under 500.
They go to places that they're not like Charlie White. Notre Dame was not a place for success.
No.
Cleveland's not a place for success.
What about the Texans?
The Texans will hopefully succeed, maybe. But Bill O'Brien has at least been the one who consistently gets over 500 at least. The rest of them don't even do that.
The one thing I like about Bill Belichick the most is he believed in himself and the way he wanted to do things and stuck to it.
And bet on himself.
And
remember, they were going to give him the job at the Giants, but he wasn't going to be in control.
Right.
And New England said, if you come here, you're in control. And he said, I'll take that job then.
I'll take that one then. Yeah, I agree with this.
And honestly, to me, the biggest thing is when the Patriots do something, now
everyone follows.
Well, but even if they make a trade, if they trade for a player, immediately you start going, God, what did the other team not see? Remember, Randy Moss was in Oakland, and everyone thought Randy Moss was done and dead and gone forever. And New England goes, wait a minute, Randy Moss can be got with a 4th-round draft pick?
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Had some of the best years there.
Wes Welker was a nobody. He played 4 years in Miami and had done nothing except get Bill Belichick's attention.
Yep.
Wes Welker owes Bill Belichick $100 million.
And every other short wide receiver owes it to him. Because
Yes.
that became
the thing to do after
Yep.
that. Because he taught the league how to do it.
right.
He changes things, and then all of a sudden the rest of the league goes, oh, let's do that.
Oh,
And every year he finds these weird loopholes in the rules and does things. So in the playoffs against Baltimore, there was a rule that used to be where you line the people up wasn't relevant. They just had to be on the line.
Yeah.
So he would take an offensive lineman who didn't report as eligible, line them up outside of the line. During the playoffs against Baltimore, he did it twice. They didn't know who to cover. Even though he wasn't eligible to move downfield, and he didn't move downfield,
Right.
Baltimore was like, wait a minute, he's out here with the wide receiver. We got to get a corner on this guy. He might catch a ball. And all of a sudden, they're not covering the people they're supposed to cover, confusing a team who literally is in the playoffs.
right.
I mean,
And
Bill
a good
Belichick,
defensive team. There.
yes.
He's pretty strong.
So now
Right.
you've
They had to change the rules. They change the rules every year because of something he does.
now that you've hijacked all the time, and I have nothing left to talk about my number one.
Who's your hero? Who's your
so-
childhood hero?
Is it Hulk Hogan?
No,
Oh, I thought it was going to be Hulk
I'm
Hogan.
staying away from wrestling.
Okay.
Wrestling's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
My number one sports hero, because this was literally my favorite sports player growing up.
Who is this?
Warren the Moon.
Okay, this is fair.
I loved me some Warren Moon. Like,
The run and gun.
the run and gun, he instituted it. Just a black quarterback that was successful and doing well, which is something you didn't really see in the early
The
90s.
word a lot. It was him and Randall Cunningham.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And Randall Cunningham was more of a runner.
Right.
And Warren Moon could throw the pigskin.
He really could.
And
He really
I
could.
remember one of my best memories of the Moon is, remember when they would, like, when you were in like junior high, or not junior high, but middle school, you'd have to like send letters to famous people or something like that.
Yeah.
So I wrote a letter to Warren Moon, and I put one of his cards in there, and I told him that he was my hero, my favorite quarterback. I had his posters on my wall, and it's like, could you sign my baseball card or my football card?
And he sent back a letter saying, I can't sign Topps cards.
No, he sends a letter back saying, if I sign your card, it will devalue the card itself. So here is an 8x10 photo of myself that I have signed for you instead. I was
Oh.
like, yes! I remember just running around the house, like, yes, yes, all excited. And with that, we'll jump out to a break.
That's
We'll come
awesome.
back. We'll close down this
such a tender memory.
Nerd Thug Radio 101.